Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so my question is that in other spiritual traditions, such as Hinduism and Buddhism, a core teaching is the practice of non-violence and harmlessness towards all sentient beings that share this planet with us. That's human beings as well as the animals. And as a result of that, one finds that predominantly the followers of those traditions are vegetarian or vegan. And I can in fact imagine that as one's spiritual awareness grows and as a result one's compassion, one would tend to stray away from industries that perhaps contribute towards the suffering of sentient beings on our planet. So my question is being vegetarian or vegan important for the evolution or unfolding of consciousness on this planet, where we do live with other sentient beings who might be considered lower than us? And in particular, are you yourself vegetarian or vegan? And, and if not, why not?
That reminds me of the Dalai Lama when he was asked, because when the Dalai Lama is at home, he is a vegetarian. When he travels, he eats anything. And they asked him, "Why do you eat meat?" And he said, "Well, I got used to it." I always love his simplicity. I'd never prescribe any behavior, because what it is, it needs to come from within you, what it is that the body needs or wants, or what you feel is right for you to eat. And certainly, if you eat meat, I do still eat meat, certain kinds of meat, very rarely red meat. It's important, if you can, to be aware that in the food industry there's an enormous amount of unconsciousness in the way animals are slaughtered. It's absolutely dreadful. So there is, in the more ancient cultures, a respect towards even those animals that you kill for food. There's a respect of the spirit of the animal, and that we need to come back to. If we don't all become vegetarians, it is important to come back to exercising that deep respect towards life forms that we kill in order to eat. Of course, you also kill plants. Now, we can say plants are also life forms, and we could say, well, and there's some truth to this, plants are at a less evolved state of consciousness than animals, and therefore we are more justified in killing plants. But every act of eating is destructive. Unfortunately, we are still here with physical bodies, so every time we put something in our mouth, we destroy that particular life form. Even a vegetable or a fruit has a certain consciousness. It is a life form. And here too, it's important to have a respect, an attitude of gratitude that goes with respect towards that life form that is being sacrificed so that we can survive. We have an intuitive knowledge that certain life forms are more evolved than others, although intellectually you might question that and say, how do you know that a worm or a fish or an oyster is less evolved in consciousness than a horse. But if you listen to yourself, to your deeper intuition, you will be able to realize that there are degrees of consciousness. And every life form participates is a manifestation of the one consciousness, but in certain life forms, the one consciousness manifests itself more strongly. And this is the reason why we are shocked when we see that people eat, where many people are not shocked when they see people eating cows or pigs, and they are shocked, the same people are shocked when they see people eating horses or dogs. There is some reason why this happens, because there's an intuitive recognition that a dog has a very highly developed consciousness. And so the more highly developed the consciousness is, the more difficult it is to kill for food. So I would suggest the necessary change in the culture is to have a reverential attitude towards any life form that we still kill for food, both plants and animals, and perhaps we will reach a point where we will no longer kill animals for food, and if that is already your path, it is wonderful. In the meantime, the most important work needs to be done in the collective awareness that how we are treating animals in slaughterhouses is absolutely dreadful, a deep manifestation of unconsciousness, and will have karmic consequences for humanity. So if you eat, always be careful that it comes not from mass-produced factory farms and so on, and exercise gratitude and reverence towards the life form that had to be killed, realizing, so it's as little suffering as possible, not without going to an extreme. There are certain sects in India where they mustn't kill a mosquito or a fly. People who belong to that sect, and that is perhaps taking it to an extreme. But I already find, and many of you find, I might still kill a mosquito when it bites me at night. But when I'm out in the open, I would never kill a little animal. Its domain is out there. When it invades the house, or the ants come crawling in and invade your kitchen, then still, even there, you could ask them, would you please leave, otherwise I have to do something. So because the ants are also a life form, an expression of the one consciousness. So the most important change, I think, first of all, and it's not an unrealistic proposition, is to increase awareness of what we are doing to animals. The word to use is inhumane treatment of animals. And I think that is where everybody can disseminate information, which is so easy these days, disseminating information that you have about. Sometimes people just need to see how animals are treated for them to make a change in their life, and then do not buy food that has been produced in that way. And the rest, do not feel superior to anybody who is not a vegetarian, always remembering the Dalai Lama eats meat, Hitler was a vegetarian. When they put chicken soup in front of him, he said mockingly, "This is what you're giving me, chicken corpse soup? I don't want that." So don't let being vegetarian is a wonderful thing. Don't let it become part of your ego. And if you're not a vegetarian, even if you are vegetarian, respect towards life forms. The spirit within the life form is immortal, no matter whether it's the snail or the cow or the dog or the human. That which inhabits the life form is immortal. Ultimately you cannot kill anything, but the important thing is not to inflict suffering.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.